We're following up on the drug crisis in Kensington.
Last night, we reported on city leaders wanting harm reduction groups out of Kensington.
The opioid crisis has been going on for a long time.
Food insecurity has been a big issue for countless families.
I survived the coldest winters, the hottest summers. I done ran a big money.
Welcome. It's your boy Pete Rose. Spill Entertainment presents Chronic Conversation React Videos. Thank you. Salute to everybody that subscribed to the channel. Salute to everybody that's tapping into the videos, liking, sharing with everybody, and liking the content. Make sure you check out the Chronic Conversation podcast every Wednesday, 7 to 9. We just dropped our first episode. And in that first episode, we were talking about Shannon Sharpe and his whole debacle. And Tashia heard of it, but didn't really know the ins and outs. Same thing with Razor. So I just about doing my homework after the live, and they're still interested in, the topic. I stumbled across a video and I said, well, why don't I react to this and share it with the people? And then people can get some clarity and understanding of how Shannon Sharpe got to this point where he at right now, which is treacherous and diabolical. If you want to check out the live, that's going to Chronic Conversation page. Subscribe to the page so you and hit the bell so you can get all the notifications when we go live, when we drop videos, so you can be the first one to see the videos. And shout out to the whole Chronic Conversation family, man. We building the Spill ENT army over here, man. So without further ado, let's do our homework.
In LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you did to me.
Yes, he's a lifetime Snow Bunny hopper, but that's my brother. Uncle Shannon Sharpe is my brother. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe until the facts prove otherwise. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe until the facts prove otherwise.
It started with a whisper, a name dropped in a courtroom filing in Clark County, Nevada, and then came the noise. A $50 million lawsuit, a civil complaint filed by a 21-year-old woman claiming to be a victim, not of a stranger in the dark, but of a man she once called, quote-unquote, daddy. Her claims, disturbing. Her lawyer, familiar. Her timing, precise. Because as the papers were filed, Shannon Sharpe was negotiating a deal that could have made him in the face of a $100 million podcast empire. But
Right there, headshot. You got a chance to make $100 million deal, and you risk it for this. And I know he already had SA accusation before in 2010. Shoot yourself.
But now, his face was everywhere for a different reason. He called it a shakedown. She called it survival. And the world, watching in real time, couldn't look away. Was this about justice, fame, money, or something far more personal?
What if recording high-quality content, editing like a pro, and streaming like a star was as simple as hitting?
All we know for sure is that it didn't begin with a lawsuit. No, it began decades earlier, in a house with no plumbing, in a town most people have never heard of, with a boy who would have become a legend. But legends, too, have secrets. And sometimes the darkest ones aren't buried in headlines. They're buried in loyalty, silence, and the choices made when no one's watching. And if you stick around, you'll learn about the dark secrets Shannon Sharpe couldn't hide, his life, and what his future may hold. Because though it looks dark now, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Before the Super Bowls, the viral moments, before he became Unc to millions online, Shannon Sharpe was just a skinny kid from Glenville, Georgia, population 3,400 on a good day. And in that town, ambition didn't run high. His mother, Mary Alice Dixon, raised Shannon and his siblings in a cinder block house without indoor plumbing. No fancy meals, no safety nets. His father, Pete Sharpe, died from lung cancer when Shannon was just 8 years old. The man he barely got to know became the reason he never stopped pushing.
Can you describe the home? I mean, it was humble. Let's put a good word to it, humble, but no running water, not a lot of food on the table.
Cinder block, cement floors, no paneling, no indoor plumbing, no running water. It was me, my brother, my sister. My sister had a special needs child, my 3 aunts, and my grandfather. Okay, my grandfather died. So sometimes it's anywhere between 7 to 10 of us. My grandmother's making $197
in that house.
In that house. My grandmother is making $197 every 2 weeks.
But his grandmother, Mary Porter, who set the tone, tough, unflinching, Bible in one hand, discipline in the other. She wasn't raising boys. She was forging steel.
So basically, you got a grandmom that's tough as nails, and she's forging men as tough as steel. I understand that. But what would Grandmama Sharpe think about this? Could you bring that girl home to Grandmama Sharpe? I'm just asking. Will she accept that? Will Grandmama Sharpe accept that? I'm just asking.
Picked tobacco, hauled peanuts, and on Sundays prayed like everything depended on it. Shannon learned to survive long before he learned to thrive. And every field he walked through barefoot was training for the turf he'd one day dominate. At Glenville High, he played everything: quarterback, linebacker, and a little bit of hope for a family that had lost too much. But even then, he was overlooked. College scouts saw a tall, lanky body, 6'2" and under 200 pounds. Not exactly NFL material. They didn't see the hunger, though. Only one school truly did: Savannah State University, a Division II HBCU with more heart than headlines. There, under Coach Bill Davis, Sharpe found the only position that fit: tight end.
When I first got to Savannah State, Ocho, we used to be everybody homecoming. I think we played about 5 homecoming because we pushovers. Okay.
What you mean?
Cause you schedule cream puff for homecoming. You want an easy victory.
Okay.
You want that easy dub.
Okay.
And once he found it, he owned it. In 4 years, he racked up 192 catches, 3,744 yards, and 40 touchdowns, shattering records and redefining what a tight end could be. His senior year, SIAC Player of the Year, and a Kodak Division II All-American. Still, he wasn't invited to the NFL Combine. No fanfare, no guarantees, just a 7th-round phone call in 1990 from the Denver Broncos. Pick 192, a footnote in most drafts, but not this one, because what Shannon did next would not only put him in Canton, Ohio, it would also build the foundation of the media empire now at risk. He didn't just redefine his position, he changed the game. By 1993, he had 81 receptions, nearly 1,100 yards, and his first Pro Bowl nod. In Denver, he became John Elway's safety valve. In Baltimore, he became a champion again. And by the end of it all, he wasn't just a tight end. He was the tight end. But every story has layers, because even as Sharpe collected rings and records, his life off the field was already setting the stage for what would one day bring everything to a halt. He learned how to trash talk, how to lead, and how to win. But did he also learn how to let go?
A speech class, and the teacher always said, if a person comes to a word, they can't get it, we're going to let them sound it out, and we're going to help them. But let me do that. Don't you do it. So I never forget this guy named Johnny. He got to a word, and it was like, and the teacher, and she kept saying, it sounds like, Johnny, it sounds like, and I said, it sounds like Johnny can't read.
Disrespectful. Disrespectful, bro. Yo, where Johnny at today, man? Hope Johnny's successful and he eventually learned how to read. Let's keep doing our homework. Let's go.
She said, Shannon Sharpe, get out of class and don't come back until you learn how to talk to people.
The boy from Glenville made it to the mountaintop, but as we'll see, sometimes the climb leaves scars you can't shake, and sometimes the ones who cheer the loudest become the ones who tear you down the fastest. He could have walked away. 3 rings, 8 Pro Bowls, first tight end in history to hit 10,000 receiving yards. But Shannon Sharpe wasn't built for silence. When he stepped off the field in 2003, it wasn't into retirement. It was into transformation. What the football world didn't realize yet was that Sharpe wasn't done talking. He was just getting started. Because sometimes the real game doesn't start until the helmet comes off. It began in 2004. CBS Sports welcomed him to the NFL Today, alongside James Brown, Dan Marino, and Boomer Esiason. Sharpe, still rough around the media edges, wasn't polished, but he was compelling.
All right, Bonnie, thank you. Everybody's talking about those receivers of the Colts against that secondary of the Patriots, but still it seems to come down to Peyton Manning against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it really does. Bill Belichick has done a great job, Greg.
Yo, look at bro's suit. Yo, look at Shannon Sharpe's suit. Yeah, this the beginning, man. He ain't had the stylist and all that. Them pinstripes is crazy, bro. And he got shoulder pads in them Jones. He got pinstripe shoulder pad suit with the lavender underneath. And look at the cut. So you know he got the Turkish implants. Because his John don't look like that now. But that suit is crazy, man. Crazy work.
Of somehow confusing Peyton Manning, if you can imagine that. But here it is. It goes back to Bill Belichick believing that it's his system, not the players that make these plays. But I tell you what, Peyton Manning come up with one fewer turnover than what he's had in the previous games. They win this game.
His takes were loud, his suits louder, but beneath the showmanship was strategy. He brought more than bravado. He brought breakdowns. On air, he dissected coverages with the same intensity he once used to break them. Viewers either loved them or rewound him. But just as he began to find his voice, controversy came knocking. In 2010, CBS benched him temporarily. A domestic violence allegation led to a restraining order filed by a woman named Michelle Evans.
Yo, so you telling me in 2010 he already had some SA accusations? This 2010. He said he had them before, but he like kind of, that was the intro. But in 2010, he already had to step down. So, okay, bro. Right here in 2010, once this happens, this when you supposed to learn your lesson, stop messing with that. That kind of woman. Stop messing with those kind of women. But I guess bro ain't learned his lesson or he thought he was bigger than the program. Let's keep doing the homework. Let's go.
The case was dismissed, and Sharpe returned to CBS, but not without scars, because what brings quietly in one decade often returns to scream in another. After CBS, Sharpe pivoted. He co-hosted Sirius NFL Radio, modeled himself after Charles Barkley's raw, don't care approach. He wrote columns for Fitness RX for Men. He posed on the cover. He didn't just rebrand. He experimented, testing how far an NFL legend could stretch into pop culture. But his biggest gamble? September 6th, 2016. Fox Sports 1, Skip and Shannon undisputed. 2 men, 1 desk, 1 battlefield of hot takes, Sharpe versus Skip Bayless. Bayless had built his reputation on controversy, but Sharpe He brought culture, swagger, and a deep, unapologetic love for LeBron James, or LeBron James.
What is that?
Come on, old head. Why would you go on national TV with a goop mask with a black and mild in your mouth? You out of pocket, old head. He's 50 at this time doing this. That's clown work.
I have no
I can be
idea.
one or two things, Skip Bayless. Either I can be a centaur or I can be Goat James. Which am I?
I think Halloween came real early.
Oh my God. So, Shannon, I bet I can guess, but what was the difference for the Cavs in Game 3?
Just for today, I'd like to be called Goat James.
Goat James, okay.
His segments didn't feel scripted. They felt like barbershop talk at the highest volume. Fans dubbed him Hennessy bottle on the table, black and mild in his hand. It was satire, but it was also branding. Because while America was laughing, Sharpe was architecting a media empire. Undisputed made him a household name. And every time he clashed with Bayless, it wasn't just good TV, it was calculated fire. Until one day, the fire burned too hot. December 2022, Bayless, frustrated, crossed the line. He questioned Shannon's NFL legacy, compared it unfavorably to Tom Brady.
Yo, that situation right there, Skip Bayless disrespected the shit out of Shannon Sharpe. Disrespected the shit out of you. And when he said, put your glasses back on, he wanted to say something else too.
Sharpe took off his glasses. The studio air thickened.
You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal
Put your glasses back on.
Behind the scenes, things got tense. Rumors swirled. There had nearly been a physical altercation off camera. By June 2023, Sharpe announced his departure from Undisputed, buyout deal, public thank yous, private tensions.
But fill in sometimes, guys, you've been amazing. To Nushin Faraji, who's never colored my hair or given me a haircut, but had all these great ideas, I'm going to really miss you and how you mispronounce words. The wardrobe room, Autumn and Tracy and all the others, every day at 6:10, you would knock on the door. Can I help you with your cufflinks? Can I turn down your collar? Can I help you with your tie? Double tie, you did everything. I'm going to miss you guys, and hopefully you miss me as much as I miss you.
But leaving Undisputed wasn't a step down. It was a launch. Because while Fox held the mic, Shannon held the brand. That was when Club Shay Shay came in. What began as a side project, a YouTube podcast in 2020, became a phenomenon. Guests weren't just celebrities, they were confessionals. Steve Harvey, Cat Williams, Monique, Deion Sanders. Each episode peeled back layers, not just of the guests, but of Sharpe himself. And then came the moment that broke the internet. January 2024. Cat Williams appeared on Club Shay Shay. His unapologetic truth-telling lit the culture on fire.
Almost 100 years old right now, but if we go outside right now, I can run a 4.340 or sub. I can do a 4.16 if I'm.
Oh, there's Jimmy John's across the street. We can order a sub.
But
oh, you been on the submarine? That what you sub?
So
Club Shay Shay became a staple. Viewers didn't just watch for sports takes, they watched to see who would break character next. But Shannon wasn't stopping there. Later in 2024, he launched Nightcap, a late-night show with Chad Ochocinco Johnson and Gilbert Arenas. A looser format, more laughs, sharper jabs. From locker room stories to conspiracy theories, nothing was off limits. Sharpe had learned to play 3 characters at once. The debate warrior on First Take, the mentor host on Club Shay Shay, the unfiltered friend on Nightcap. By August 2023, he inked a distribution deal with Colin Cowherd's The Volume. Ownership, creative control, a media blueprint.
Good news for me. You're smiling.
I have great news for you. We're in business together, bro. I've decided to bring Club Shay Shay over and partner with you. When we first started, you said, hey, give me an opportunity, hear what everybody else has to say. And I listened to everybody, but I felt the Volume was the best place for me.
I feel like I landed Peyton Manning in Denver. The commitment I watched you make
as a former pro athlete who's got his money, who's got his legacy, to get up at 4 a.m, I'd come in on the elevator to see a great pro athlete commit to the process of the grind. And that's what this shit is. It is a grind.
It consumes your life. And I think what made it easy for me, Colin, it was because football consumed my life. And so now that I'm in this business, I devote my life to this business. I am very, very excited to know that Club Shay Shay is partnered with the Volume.
By April 2025, Forbes reported he was negotiating a new contract worth over $100 million. A kid from Glenville, a tight end from Savannah State. But success attracts shadows. And just as his next chapter seemed written in gold, a different script was about to unfold. April 20th, 2025. The headlines flipped from first take to first defendant. That $100 million deal suddenly in limbo, because the louder the media empire, the harder the fall when silence comes knocking. And when the same charisma that built your brand becomes the evidence used to dismantle it, who are you then? Shannon had always controlled the narrative, until now.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
But before
that whole situation, that whole video backfired. First of all, the difference between you and Jay-Z, Jay-Z came out and said, listen, if I did anything and y'all can prove it, y'all can send me to jail. I ain't do nothing at all. Bro, you tried to settle out of court. Let's continue our homework. Let's go.
Before the accusations, before the legal filings, before the Instagram live gone wrong, there was strategy, style, and a man rewriting what media dominance looked like for black athletes. In all of it, every second is now under a different kind of spotlight. Because when you rise this high, everyone keeps receipts. And as we're about to see, some receipts are more dangerous than others. It came quietly. A PDF filed in Clark County, Nevada, 13 pages long. By morning, it was everywhere. On April 20th, 2025, a civil lawsuit was filed against Shannon Sharpe. The allegations: rape, battery, emotional abuse, and non-consensual recording.
And new this morning, former Broncos tight end Shannon Sharpe faces multiple sexual assault and battery allegations. An anonymous woman filed a lawsuit Sunday seeking more than $50 million in damages. She accuses Sharpe of manipulating and controlling her for nearly 2 years. Sharpe's attorneys deny the allegations, calling it an attempt to, quote, shake down Sharpe for millions of dollars.
The plaintiff, a 21-year-old woman identified as Jane Doe, now known as Gabriella Zunga. The claim that Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, the ESPN star, the voice behind Club Shay Shay, was also something else. According to the complaint, Gabriella Zunga met Sharpe in January 2023 at a gym in Los Angeles. She was 19. He was 54.
Headshot. First of all, old head, why are you over there flirting with a 19-year-old? I'm pretty sure it's some other beautiful women in that gym that you can approach that looks of age, that you might have more in common with. Now, I don't know if there's a whole lot of sisters in there, but it's still some other beautiful women of age. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue doing homework. Let's go.
What began, she says, as a flirtation quickly evolved into something else, a relationship marked by control, manipulation, and escalating violence. Sharpe, she alleges, pushed her obsessively, called her his quote-unquote property, demanded obedience, punished disobedience. The lawsuit names 3 specific assaults, 2 in October 2024, 1 in January 2025, all in her Las Vegas apartment. She claims he raped her while she sobbed and screamed no, that he ignored her pain, that he threatened to choke and slap her, that he told her she belonged to him. And then, she says, he filmed it, not just once, but multiple times, without her consent. and shared those recordings with others. A man known for transparency, for speaking his truth, now accused of hiding a reality he never wanted anyone to see. The most chilling detail? The complaint connects her trauma to a viral moment millions laughed at. Sharpe's Instagram Live gone wrong in September 2024, when background audio caught the sounds of a sexual act with a woman not Jane Doe. That moment, she says, shattered her because she believed they were exclusive.
Right there. Right there. That's crazy. Because when that came out, everybody like, how do you hit the live by accident and all that? Clearly it happened. And Shorty got upset because, like they said, she thought she was the only one. It was exclusive in a relationship. That is weird. That is still weird. Let's continue doing homework. Let's go.
Because she thought they were in love, and instead, she became a ghost in her own story. That Instagram moment was supposed to be funny. Now, it was Exhibit A, and it wouldn't be the last time a laugh turned into a lawsuit. He called it a setup, accused Tony Busby, the plaintiff's lawyer, of targeting high-profile black men, pointing to previous lawsuits against Deshaun Watson, Sean Diddy Combs, and Jay-Z. Sharpe didn't stop there. He claimed the plaintiff and her lawyer were preparing to release a misleading 30-second sex tape clip. He dared them. Put the full 10-minute video out, because Sharpe said the full tape proved the act was consensual. And if he was telling the truth, why hadn't they done it? Then came Lanny J. Davis, veteran crisis attorney, now leading Sharpe's legal defense. His strategy? Unleash everything. He released 44 pages of sexually explicit text allegedly from Jane Doe or Gabrielle Zunga to Sharpe. In them, she calls him quote-unquote daddy, asks us to be choked, mentions dog collars, fantasizes about public submission.
Yes, there was a settlement offer made by Mr. Sharpe.
Okay. Right there. There was a settlement offer made by Mr. Sharpe. If you're settling, what are you settling for if you ain't do nothing? And then if the lawyer put that out and said that it was consensual, and she's saying that she thought they were in an exclusive relationship, that's what they did in a relationship. What are you trying to settle out for? If it was all consensual and that's what y'all did, what did you try to settle out for first before this all came out? Let's keep doing our homework.
I will only generally say to you that it was in the tens of millions of dollars demanded by the plaintiff in return for her silence. That's under any definition commonly understood. That is blackmail. And Mr. Sharpe was willing to pay an amount in the tens of millions of dollars, but no final agreement could be reached. And we thought we were still in the middle of discussions when, without warning, the mediator, who's a retired judge, ourselves as lawyers, without any prior warning, still thinking that we were close to a final agreement, the plaintiff and her lawyer from Houston filed a case in Texas, publicly accusing my client of lies and willful, harmful lies by using the rape word when it was she knows, 100% knows, and the evidence will show that she knew that this was entirely consensual. So we were of the belief on our side that we had an agreement without any warning. Not even the mediator, who is a retired judge, was given a warning out of courtesy. This case was filed and the public charges went throughout the media before we even knew that.
Stupid motherfucker. Yo, he thought it was going to be over. He thought he could pay her that $10 million, sweep the shit under the rug for her silence. What is she keeping silent, bro? The lawyer is being conflicting because what is she keeping silent? What is he paying her for? And then they played them because they thought they were coming to an agreement. Next thing you know, the lawsuit is all over the news. There ain't no shit. She dropped unexpectedly like bird shit on a nigga. Damn, Unc sprayed that nigga up.
The discussions were over and the case had been filed.
They demanded tens of millions for her silence. That's blackmail under any definition. He claimed Gabrielle Zunga asked for $25K per cheek, quoted her exact words, quote unquote, I know you miss this big juicy ass, $25K for.
I'm letting you know that John is weak. There ain't no turkey. I don't even know why he was what Samuel Jackson say on Juice. All you seen was that butt. And I don't know why you thought that was all that. She had that snappy nappy dugout. Snappy nappy dugout? Snappy nappy dugout.
For each cheek. Sharpe's legal team said she turned down a $10 million settlement offer.
Yeah, because if you offering 10, I'm going for the 50. Stupid.
Choosing instead to go public. But then Busby released his own weapon, a 30-second audio recording. No video, just words.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy choke small white woman.
Bro, this nigga's role playing, bro. He's saying role playing. And all right, you freaky and all that, man, but this is at the time where she's under 22, maybe under 21. And this is weird, bro. Go ahead, weird for this one, man. Let's keep doing our homework. Let's go.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did
She said it's not a good look, Shannon. She still ain't care.
to me.
The storm didn't start in the courtroom. It started in the comment sections, in the quote tweets, on the Shade Room, ESPN, X, and YouTube. Because the moment Shannon Sharpe became the accused, the world didn't just watch. It chose sides. In today's culture, justice isn't just about facts. It's about perception. And perception spreads faster than evidence. And just like that, the narrative wasn't about the lawsuit. It was about what you wanted to believe. On April 22nd, Stephen A. Smith broke his silence, not with a tweet, not with a clip, with a full monologue.
I know he's been through a lot in life. He's overcome a lot of things. And when he departed from Fox, I was more than happy to bring him on board here. So all I can speak about is what I know based on the reports. And I can speak about ESPN and Disney. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today, letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach, because I owe them that courtesy.
It was cautious, respectful, deliberate. Then came Charlemagne the God on The Breakfast Club, April 23rd. He pulled no punches.
If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday, because it's true. Sit your old ass down and go find somebody your age and build a family with them. As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need D-discipline. Right. You got to have D-discipline.
The message wasn't about legal guilt. It was about optics, about power dynamics, about grown men dating barely grown women. And in a case about consent, that context mattered. Then came Dr. Umar Johnson, the Instagram Live, the viral rants, the sound bites that couldn't be ignored.
I'm going to stand with my Uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with my Uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with Uncle Shay Shay on one condition. Uncle Shay Shay, no more snow bunnies after this scandal. If you cannot promise me,
It was supposed to be no more no snow bunnies after the first scandal. No more snow bunnies after the first scandal. No more snow bunnies after the first scandal. Dr. Umar, what you talking about after this scandal? He already went through a scandal with a snow bunny. Let's continue doing homework. Let's go.
that you will never seek the company of another snow bunny, I cannot stand with you. Uncle Shay Shay. Uncle Shay Shay. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. But Uncle Shay Shay, no more bunnies after this. Can somebody confirm if he's being accused by snow bunnies or Afro queens?
Absurd, funny, but also deeply layered. Umar's comments racialized the narrative, turned the case into a cultural fault line. Was this about justice, or was it about punishing a black man for dating white women? Dr. Umar wasn't alone in this frame. X lit it up with questions. Then came the memes, clips of Sharpe in his goat mask captioned GOAT or groomer, screenshots of text overlaid with dramatic music. People weren't just commenting, they were building narratives. Shannon Sharpe, once welcomed in boardrooms, now found doors closing. A lawsuit didn't just threaten his present, it reached into his past, resurfacing old accusations and painting a troubling pattern. In the court of public opinion, he was already on trial. Sharpe had built a media empire, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, First Take. But when billion-dollar brands sense risk, loyalty fades fast. By late April 2025, ad partnerships paused. ESPN distanced itself. In fact, Shannon has now stepped down from ESPN. And a second woman, Michelle Evans, reemerged with serious allegations from 2010. As accusations piled up, Sharpe's once mighty brand wobbled under the weight of doubt. In the social media age, silence can be as damning as guilt. And now Sharpe, the man who asks tough questions for a living, faces the toughest one yet. Who is he when no one is watching?
Damn, I ain't know Shannon Sharpe had already a situation with another snow bunny before. And now they're saying she's coming back out the woodwork. So you don't just got the first shorty, you got the old victim and the new victim. Oh man, this is a bad hour for Shannon Sharpe, and for Tony Busby. He's going at the bread. He's going after the bread. Try to settle off for $10 million. You're going for the 50. Stop playing. Not your rabbit ass mind, old head. Like, you tried to settle out. You did something wrong because you just settling out to keep her solid. And she thought y'all was in a committed relationship. But clearly, you was just capping her up. Ah, man. Listen, man. This one's another crazy one. That's basically what he did to himself. He just shot himself, man. Ended his whole career. $100 million sponsorship on the line. Down the drain. ESPN, down the drain. Fox, down the drain. Whoever sponsors Club Shay Shay, down the drain. Even if you go on, keep doing Nightcap Ocho Cinco, people are going to be trolling you because you're not answering the questions that you would ask people on your show. So it doesn't look fair that you can ask people intimate questions, but now when the heat is on you, they can't ask you nothing. I'm just saying. It's your boy Pete Rose. Spill Entertainment presents Chronic Conversation Reacts Vids. We had another one today, a good one. Make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all like and share the videos. Let everybody know, tell a friend to tell a friend. And like that, We out.